So let's dive right in. For those of us who don't know, can you just tell us a little bit about what JobPath is?
Sure. So we are a nonprofit and we work with students who are enrolled in some specific training programs. Most are through Pima Community College. They are in the realm of technical and healthcare training. So we work with registered nursing students, LPN students, some other allied health programs like dental hygiene, respiratory therapy. And on the technical side, we work with aviation students, welding, CAD, machine tool technology, truck driving, to name a few. So while students are in those programs, we offer supportive services. The students that we work with, we know that they're really not just students. They work full-time or part-time. They support families, both immediate and extended outside school. The average age of the student that we work with is 31 to 32 years old. So they're non-traditional students facing a lot of different circumstances while they're in school, and many have been impacted by systems of inequities and oppression too. And so we are really looking at that student in their environment and not just, here's a student who's on campus for however many hours a week. So we make sure students are connected to the resources they need to be connected to. We create peer networking groups for students, and then we also offer individualized financial plans. So that can help with the cost of school, whether it's books, tuition, any school-related gear or supplies, any licensing or certification exam fees we can help with. But we can also help out with non-school related expenses too. So things like rent, utilities, car repairs. Really, if it's an expense that students have to pay in order to stay in school, it's something that we want to help with. I think all of us who have been college students remember scraping by and what it's like to face a sudden unexpected expense while you're just trying to be on campus during the week and get all your assignments done, study for exams, and then pay the bills. And so we exist so students can just have a little bit less stressful of a college experience, finish their program, and then get into their field, which the programs we support, they all start at a livable wage. So students can reach self-sufficiency.
So what are you seeing right now? How is COVID-19 affecting your work and the people that you serve?
It's a really rapidly evolving situation too, as we're all feeling the effects of that. And so I think we haven't fully seen how people are going to be impacted by this. As we all know, a lot of people are losing work because of this. And the students that we work with, that they're not able to work as much. And then changes have also been made at the educational level too. So classes were postponed a little bit longer. It's really going to depend on the program that they're in, but they're going to see their graduation date delayed. And so that can really throw a lot of things off schedule for a student who has meticulously planned this timeline. They plan their work around this, their whole lives are planned around this. But really, even though we haven't fully seen it yet, students are going to be, and everyone in general is going to be facing unprecedented financial needs. With people losing work hours, how do you pay bills? There is some flexibility right now with utility companies, but people are understandably feeling some anxiety and uncertainty and some fear around how that's going to look for them long term. So again, we haven't totally seen how this will play out, but there's still some definite anxiety around it.
Yeah. What kind of support do you need right now?
I think a lot of nonprofits, as long as we can all work together, there's the trap for nonprofits to operate in silos and kind of do their own thing and a duplication of services. So nonprofits are communicating with each other about how we can leverage resources, and we really need to continue to do that within the nonprofit community. And honestly, if there's anyone seeing this who is in a position to do so, Nonprofits can use any kind of donation, whether it's diapers to the diaper bank, whether it's monetary donations. At JobPath, for example, $30 buys a student a tank or a month's worth of gas. $100 can pay a couple utilities. $200 can help with a tuition payment. So as long as we're keeping this community of support within nonprofits, that's a really great start. And then whatever people are in a position to do in terms of donation, it's always appreciated. The students we work with often say anything helps, and truly it does.
What advice do you have for someone who might be experiencing, really serious difficulty, maybe for the first time?
That's we're seeing that across the board right now, that people are finding themselves in that really challenging position for the first time ever, or in a way that they maybe haven't before. So I would say, first off, don't be afraid to ask for help. It really does take a lot of courage to just say that you need help, and the support is there. You're a member of this community. You are absolutely worthy and entitled to the support that is there. Don't be afraid to keep showing up. I know for some people, these might be really discouraging circumstances, but just showing up, that says so much about the courage you have and what you're capable of. So just please keep showing up. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are a lot of community resources right now. Arizona 211 has a COVID hotline, so I think that's kind of a one-stop shop for a lot of resources. It's operating 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. So if you just dial 211, that'll take you to the hotline and you can hear some of the resources. There are food services within town. A lot of the school districts are still offering meals to school-aged children and their families. The community food bank is still doing food boxes via drive-up. So if you go to communityfoodbank.org, you can see a list of some of those areas. And then if you go to foodpantries.org and look up Tucson, that'll show you some of the food pantries as well. The YMCA is offering emergency childcare right now. The eligibility for the annual income requirement has changed for WIC, so a lot more people should be eligible. If you go to azdes.gov, you can look up how to get signed up for that. And then at des.az.gov, you can file for unemployment benefits. And then you have options with utilities as well. So Southwest Gas, Tucson Water, TEP, Trico, and I believe there are more now. They are pledging to not shut off service if somebody's not able to pay. So going to each of those websites, calling and talking to customer service, that's an option as well. Cox and Comcast are both offering deals for internet right now, since so many students, both K through 8, high school, and at the college level, are now having to work remotely. So there are options there. And let me see. I think those are pretty much the important ones. The last thing is that Pima County's website. They're providing the public with information on COVID-19, so you can go to Pima County's website to look for all the most current developments. And I think what also makes it hard to reach out and ask for help is the isolating nature of this situation too. Now that there's a stay-at-home order, we're all feeling the impacts of that isolation. And I think the more you get into isolation, the harder it is to reach out to somebody. So yeah, I think we can all feel that in some ways right now.
What advice do you have? Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself during this time, or to adjust to, shelter at home or working remotely? What are your sort of survival tips?
FaceTime. I'm really grateful for the technology that we have. There are understandably a lot of arguments about the detriments of social media, but right now it feels like such a godsend to be connected in some way to people. So FaceTiming with my family, FaceTiming with my friends. I get outside as much as I can. I have a couple dogs, and they are going to be very fit by the time this is all over, because we go on a lot of walks. And just having a lot of patience for myself too, for those times that I start feeling a little down about the situation, just reminding myself that it's perfectly normal to feel that way, that feeling's not going to last. And just trying to really indulge in the things at home that I love, like cooking, just sitting outside and listening to the birds. I know that sounds really cheesy, but we're all having to be really creative right now. So it's really just getting as much sunshine as possible and using technology to stay in touch with the people I love.
And who are your super sheroes? Is there anybody who's really inspiring you right now?
Yeah, I have a couple. So one is our program operations manager. Her name is Sarah, and she is just like this logistics goddess that, for someone like me, the way my brain works, trying to break things down into like tasks and execute them in that order, it usually doesn't happen for me. But she is someone that when you tell her what the need is, she just immediately, boom, 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 starts figuring out what has to get done. And she gets it done. She delegates when she needs to. So that is just a heroic effort in my eyes, in this when this kind of chaos is present. And then my other super shero is my sister. She is a single parent of 2 kids, and she represents the reality of a lot of families right now. You know, it would be challenging enough to be home with your kids full time when parents are trying to work remotely. They're trying to keep their kids on task for their virtual learning, and especially a single parent trying to do that. Just the level of patience and creativity that must take, I have a hard time wrapping my mind around that. So she is definitely doing something pretty admirable right now, and I know a lot of other parents are doing that too.
I imagine a lot of the people that you serve are in that position.
Yeah, we work with a lot of parents, and I think one of the things that feels a little tenuous right now is um, they're trying to do their own learning online while their child or children are trying to do that too. And then some people are still having to go to work too. They're not really in a job where they can work remotely, or they're in what's called an essential business right now. And what do you do for childcare right now too? It's definitely a challenge, and it's kind of a scary decision that parents have to make too.
Any other thoughts? Any sort of things you wanted to say that you haven't said yet?
I just want to remind everyone that you probably keep hearing this, but we really are all in this together. Um, we all need to remember to cultivate a certain amount of compassion for each other. Everyone is struggling in their own way, and people are all impacted differently and at different levels of severity by this too. And so we don't have to go through anything alone. And I also I want to remind people who are lucky enough to be in a position where you're working remotely, you're still getting paid, you still have benefits. We have to be willing to listen to the needs of the community. And we also have to be able to say when we don't know the answers. And that's why it is so important to listen to the community too. And to add to that, JobPath, we're here to meet the needs of the students, but we're also here to meet the needs of the community. And so if you ever have questions as just a community member, please feel free to call us. Again, you don't have to do this alone. You're not alone, and truly JobPath is here to meet your needs.
Thanks, Britta. Do you want to give us the website and the phone number?
Yeah, so you can find JobPath at jobpath.net, and then our phone number is 520-324-0402.
Great. Thank you so much, Britta, for taking the time to talk with us today and to give an update on JobPath and some really good advice and resource for people in the community who are in need right now. I appreciate that.